The power has always been with us. It's always been within us, and it's always come from us. We've allowed the last 70 to 80 years to really blind us as to who's the real powerful ones. It's not them, folks. It's us, and it's always been us. They want you to think that you are helpless. They want you to think that you are small. They want you to think you are hapless. They want you to think that you are ineffective in doing anything, that you can't organize and you can't come together. But they're dead wrong, and we are sick of them. We don't need them.
Time for another epic segment with V the Gorilla right here on ESW.
Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks. It's V the Gorilla Economist coming to you live on this edition of ESW Rogue News. And we have with us my main co-host, the wingman extraordinaire, the one and only Cowboy. He's rocking and rolling with me. And we're keeping it real, on the riggedy rizio. I'm just like making up nonsense. But anyway,
like
check
David
us out.
Steele?
David Steele, who knows? I don't even know who David Steele is.
Remington
but hey,
Steele.
Good. Remington Steele. Absolutely. Remington Steele. And check us out, Rogue News, ESW Rogue News over at exitstrategyworld.com. And also check out our paid sponsor, AlgoFactory.tech, AlgoFactory.tech, where you not only learn how to trade, but to build the algorithms that trade on your behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And learn to trade like a hedge fund pro. Download the Algo today. The link is in the description box. Don't be caught with your pants down like the U.S. and the Strait of Hormuz. Choose not to lose. AlgoFactory.tech. With that being said, Cowboy, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Excellent, man. How you doing?
Good, man. I think everything's great now. I mean, we've won the war in Iran. It's all said and done. There's nothing left to worry about. There's the Iranians are begging for surrender. They want in on the deal that the Donald is cooking up and his amazing group of talented, brilliant individuals that are so proliferated within the administration. It's incredible. I've never seen a more winning president in my life. In fact, I'm tired of the winning, man. I actually want to make a phone call to the White House and tell them that I'm tired of winning. In fact, I actually want to do that live. You know what? I think I have that number. Hold on one second, Cowboy. This is how we do things around here, bro. Let me see if I can still find that. Oh, here we go. And there's the number. See, Donald Trump right there.
Got it.
Call, and I'm gonna put it on the speaker.
For quality and training purposes, this call may be monitored but will not be recorded.
The White House.
Hey, how you doing? I'd just like to leave a message for the president.
One moment.
Thank you for calling the White House comment line. The office is currently closed. Your comment is important to the president. Please call back between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Our direct number is 202-456-1111. Until then, you may send an e-message at www.whitehouse.gov/contact. Thank you for your call.
Well, I have to call them tomorrow, I guess.
All right.
I was going to tell the Donald, hey, man, cool your jets. I'm tired of all the winning. All this winning, I can't take it anymore.
Oh, I got to tell you, we're winning so hard that I'm having a hard time sitting down.
Dude, I went to the gas pump this morning, and after filling up my pickup truck, I'm having a hard time sitting down myself.
Oh yeah, I live in a state that has some of the cheapest gas in the country, and I filled up yesterday. I was like, "Holy moly, what just happened?"
Yep, that's the winning. You feel that's
we have
winning,
to pay for the damage from the laundry fire.
No, in order for us to get low prices, you have to pay high prices. And in order for us to win, we have to look like we're losing. Because that's 5D chess.
Hey, remember what I told you before we started? There is a plan.
There is a plan. There is a plan.
You didn't get the dimensions right, though.
Yeah, no, yeah, right. There is a plan, and unfortunately, that plan doesn't involve us, and yeah, it's not our plan for sure.
Well, unfortunately, it does involve us, but it
actually doesn't. Yeah, right about that. Let me rephrase it. It doesn't. You're right. It does involve us, but it's not our plan. We're just the hapless victims, as the Roman gladiators would say to Caesar. We who are about to die salute you.
We're the rogue gladiators.
That's what we are. We're the rogue gladiators. We who are about to die salute you. Hail Caesar. Oh my God!
It's going to be so much fun when the Democrats win.
Oh my! It's going to be an absolute bloodbath. And I want to thank the GOP and all the neocons, all the conservative cucks, all the Zionists, all the evangelical morons who absolutely gave it away. Just outrank brazen stupidity. And once again, hiring a moronic attorney general. I think Pam, the Barbie Bondi, has been fired today. On top of the incredible news of victory that has come out of the Iran situation. And the Tangerine himself went on the air live yesterday and talk about the 5D chess, Cowboy. I don't know if you have any video clips of his speech and the tremendous victories. I mean, right now the Strait of Hormuz is completely open for dollar-paying, Western-aligned nations, countries, and companies, is it not?
Yes, correct. If you're paying in dollars, you will get everything you've ever wanted.
Oh, which would be like an anti-ship missile sent right down your tanker smokestack, blowing you the hell up.
Actually, they tend to aim for the laundry room usually.
Oh, that's right. They happen to know where all the laundry rooms are on all these ships, and they hit them right where it counts, in the laundry room.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, that was probably a warning shot, if you will.
Yeah. It's a warning shot. Anyway, Cowboy, I got some of the legendary Donald's incredible talking points here.
Okay.
Let's break it down. The Strait of Hormuz, for if you don't know, it's closed. If you're paying in Chinese yuan, you'll be fine. If you're paying in dollars, you're not going to pass. So far today, 3 ships have traversed the Strait of Hormuz. They paid $2 million in yuan to traverse the Strait of Hormuz. Everybody else is stuck. This is a horrible situation. I'll tell you why it's horrible, and what most people don't realize. If the idiot Americans, which is us, not us, but the morons in D.C. can get their heads out of their asses and they stop what's going on and pull back, we can stop or mitigate at least a little bit of what will happen to the world. But we got to do it now. If we wait another week or two, you will start seeing famine erupting in many parts throughout the world, including our allies. Australia is, by the week between April the 6th and I would say April 11th, that's this coming week, Australia will be out of fuel, okay? At which point they're going to go into an energy lockdown that will make COVID look like a Sunday school sleepover, okay? That's how desperate things are getting. Europe is going to cease to exist, okay? The EU is going to cease to exist if this doesn't get squared away within this week, okay? That's how critical things have become. When you study the supply chains and the logistics behind it, this is what we're dealing with, okay? There's no fertilizer going out there in the northern hemisphere where it is now spring and harvesting season, right? Nobody's getting anything. This is a bad idea, guys. Bad idea. Terrible idea. And here's the other
fertilizer source that we have locally, though.
We do. Lindsey Graham is a good fertilizer source.
Excellent.
He opens his mouth and fertilizer just falls out of his mouth.
Yep.
In fact, all of DC, Trump is an amazing fertilizer source. He literally gets up there and lies and lies.
I think
and
in
lies.
Lindsay's particular case, though, it might have to do with what goes in his mouth as to why fertilizer comes out. But we won't go there.
Right. Especially at the truck stops. He is, after all, a lot lizard. But
that's right.
But the tangerine. Let's talk about the tangerine. The tangerine got up there yesterday and told the Americans how much winning is going on. Even though nobody believes it, nobody really buys into it except the magatoids who are sold into some deep plan that's 5D chess. But anyway,
I have highlights if you want them. I pulled them up.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're not. I just have to read them out to get off AI. But status of the conflict: Trump declared the month-long war a success that is nearing completion. He claimed that core strategic objectives are almost met, asserting that Iran's navy has been absolutely destroyed and its air force is in ruins. Let's dissect that one really quick. Iran's navy, I don't think, is a very relevant thing to destroy. It's not really what matters to them. They
that's like saying we destroyed Afghanistan's air force.
Okay. Right. Literally. And the same thing as their air force too. Like Iran, their whole thing is their army that make it pretty much impossible to invade. And then their weapons, their missiles, their munitions, that's why they fight with. So really it doesn't matter. I'd like to know what the core strategic objectives are, because I know Trump said on Monday that he would be willing to stop the war, end the war without opening Hormuz. First of all, Hormuz is open as long as you're not from the West. All the, ships that are friends with Iran, they're still going through. They've been going through. Any ship that pays you on a crypto goes through. So it's not like it's actually closed unless you're a problem for Iran. Right. So yeah, there's that. I don't know what those core objectives are at this point. And then he and Hegseth both said that regime change has occurred, which is we used to call that passive language in English class. Has occurred. Mm-hmm. Regime change has occurred. No, it's you have to cause regime change. They're just saying it happened. Like, regime change has occurred. Oh, it has occurred. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear more about that.
Yeah.
The next highlight is finish the job. While he suggested U.S. Could be out of Iran shortly, he promised to hit the country extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks to ensure the mission is completed. He used blunt warning the U.S. could bring them back to the Stone Age. Okay, fine. We'll skip that one. What did you say about it earlier? As far as Iran and the Stone Age, there was a quip you had.
Yeah, it's. I said it this morning in Algo Factory where I said, "Listen, this is civilizational power. This is a country that's been here long before America. Will probably be here long after America, right? To tell a population of people who have, done everything from mathematics to chess to advanced astronomy, you name it, right? To call them bombing them back into the Stone. They were never in the Stone Age to begin with, Donald. They never were. Okay, so
our people were living in mud huts. Europeans.
Yeah. Europeans were living in mud huts. Right, yeah. Exactly correct. In comparison,
our mutual Portuguese ancestors were living in mud huts while they were doing that.
Exactly correct. And playing leapfrog in the woods, by the way.
Right.
But I will tell you this, man. It plays to the ignorance of most people that are in the United States that can't even find Iran on a map, doesn't understand history. Most Americans have a 1991 worldview where America is the most developed, most incredible country on God's green earth, the most impressive country on God's green earth, and the rest of the world's all like shitholes, museums, and mud huts, and that's not the case. And anybody who takes the time to look at videos coming out of Iran on YouTube about shopping malls and downtown this and downtown that and restaurants, you will clearly see that is not the case in Iran whatsoever. It's actually a very modern city. It's like you look at the women walking around; they're not walking around all with hijabs. It looks like a modern metropolis. Looks like I don't know, Beverly Hills almost.
Yeah, the malls are beautiful,
gorgeous, man, stunning. And so for them to say they're bombing them to the Stone Age shows the ignorance, and he knows this, and Trump's playing on that ignorance, right? And maybe he himself is ignorant as well, and he's just being manipulated by his Zionist handlers. This is like the most low. First of all, Iran didn't agree to anything. That's number one. Number two, we don't know who the hell he's negotiating with, because it seems like the truth of the matter is he's not negotiating with anybody. I don't think there's anybody on the other end of the line that he's actually negotiating with. It's just completely made up. Now, one of the things here, it says that he says that the war could escalate if Iran leaders did not capitulate to U.S. terms during negotiations. I want you to think about this. The loser of the conflict. We're so big and bad that we have our naval ships parked 1,000 kilometers away from Iran, heading in the opposite direction, right? Have nothing to do with it, and yet we're threatening them, right? We've asked all the other navies from Japan to Europe to everything else for help. And what do? Nothing. They did absolutely nothing. They said, no, you're on your own. Nobody wants to smoke. And on top of all this, you got the Houthis that are involved right now in hitting Israel as well. And they're about to potentially close the Red Sea. Okay? Now you have a real pinch on the energy that's coming out of the entire Middle East. It's totally pinched. And we can't do nothing about it. That's the whole thing. And Trump is over here just talking out of his mouth. Nonsense. Complete abject nonsense and lies. Trump's comments on Wednesday were not clear about whether the U.S. military operations could even end before Iran opened the Strait of Hormuz. The strait's still closed for U.S. and Western ships that want to traverse that. It's closed. He instead repeated calls for the countries to rely on Gulf oil to take the lead. Gulf oil. They can't ship Gulf. I mean, think about it. You can't ship Gulf oil. How are you going to ship Gulf oil out of the Gulf? How? It doesn't make any sense. He wants the Gulf oil to take the lead and assume the burden of reopening the waterway. I want the Gulf states. They're going to go ahead and take over the opening of the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, that's not going to happen, Don. That's not going to happen. If you can get the Europeans to do it and you refuse to do it, the GCC, who has no real military power whatsoever, you think they're going to do it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Western allies, however, have resisted joining war, and he and Israeli Satan Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu started without consenting them. In his speech, Trump stopped short of saying that he has, in recent media interviews, that he is considering withdrawing from NATO over what he sees as a failure to support the U.S. in Iran. It's like, okay, now you guys go fight him. We'll stay back here. And the Europeans NATO's like, no, we're not going to do that. So we resisted joining the war. And even though Prime Minister Netanyahu, has said, hey, you know what? We started this conflict. We want you to go in. NATO's like, no, we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. But he expects the Gulf countries to do it. It's incredible. This is the most stupidest, low IQ address that a president has ever done. This is incredible. Trump touted the U.S. military success in the conflict, but questions remain about whether he has truly achieved the main goal he laid out at the start of the war, closing off Iran's path to nuclear weapons. More than a month later, Iran has a stockpile of highly enriched uranium, which that could be processed to bomb grade, but it is believed to be mostly buried underground by U.S.-Israeli bombing in June. Sure. Trump, in a sudden reversal of his demand that Iran turn over the enriched uranium. So the loser of the war is demanding that Iran turn over the uranium. The loser of the war is demanding that Iran stops with the hypersonics and hand over all their missile technology because, the U.S. is curious about that missile technology because the U.S. would like to copy said missile technology because we don't have anything like that. We really don't. So all of this, folks, all the bullshit, I'm not going to go read through every single one of his posts because I will tell you right now, 100% of what the Tangerine has said is absolute bunk. It is pure nonsense. It is a lie. It is completely made up. There's nothing else to it. Completely made up. So, what is he distracting from? Our economy continues to implode. The dollar continues to falter. Inflation is running rampant. The unaffordability crisis is exploding, right? Folks, I said this over a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago. We are on a trajectory that nothing can turn us away from this trajectory. We are on a trajectory. We're on a course with destiny that nothing could deter us off this path. And we're going to encounter this destiny. And that destiny is reality, which is going to hit us so very hard. So very hard. And that's the problem here, Cowboy.
Yeah, we talked about this. We talked about the Don Roe doctrine. We talked about the U.S. pulling away from a lot of other areas on Earth. But what's the one place that we could never pull away from without a major problem?
The one place we can never pull away from?
Yeah, let's say our military is everywhere. We got 900 bases. We got bases in Asia, maybe one or two in Africa, I don't know, but South America, wherever the bases are, Europe, all over the place. Sure. And we talked about how the U.S. is wanting to scale back a lot of those bases. But there is one particular area where scaling back is virtually impossible. There's a country that will not let us leave a certain region. Israel will not allow us to leave the Middle East.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds to me like if Trump's trying to tell South Korea, Japan, China, other allies to kind of take over, if Iran's taken over Hormuz, if all this stuff is going on, then if we're impotent to do anything about it, then why are we there? What are we going to do?
We have to do, because in the book of First Shlomo, chapter 5, and Shlomo Menlowitz, chapter 16, verse 3, says, you have to listen to Israel. Bless Israel, and you will be blessed. Love Israel, and you will be blessed.
Yeah,
suck the gonads of Israel, and the divine juice of holiness will flow into
don't stop. But it's actually important. You're talking about eschatology, right? So end of the world type stuff. And if you are of the tribe, then you're going to believe that you were promised this land 3,000 years ago. Everyone knows what that means. Israel is supposed to rule from, what is it? The river to the sea. I don't know.
Euphrates to the Nile.
The Nile, Euphrates to the Nile. I think river to the sea is what the other guys say. But the point here is that the evangelicals also believe that too. And
because they're idiots.
We talked about this. So in fact, I don't know if I think I sent you the message in private text. The evangelicals want to hasten what they believe is the second coming of Christ.
Correct.
And so this requires the red calf being slaughtered and the rebuilding of the temple,
which is a blasphemy in and of itself.
This is it, and the Gog Magog. So all that, and I'm not really all that versed on the stuff. That's more your department.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. Anybody talking about the red calf and the return of sacrifice is absolute blasphemy. Look, the whole thing is this: amongst the 12 tribes of Israel, the tribes that were the ordained priests of God, the ordained priests of the temple, were the tribe of Levi. Right? The tribe of Levi, the Levitical priesthood, was there as the priests that would sacrifice between God and man. Right? You don't have a Levitical priesthood because we don't know genealogically who is a Levite. We have no idea. We have no clue. So how are they doing this sacrifice? It's even under the rules of Judaism and real Judaism. Not this Talmudic Babylonian bastard child, redheaded step demon that's taken over. You can't have a temple,
a non-Levitican. Yeah.
You can't have you can't even have a country. That's why there's huge swaths and sects of Jews that are against Israel, that are against Zionism ardently, and several tens of thousands of them are here in New York, where they've flown over to Iran to meet with the Iranians and to denounce what the Zionist regime in Israel is doing and to show support for Palestine. And they'll tell you to your face, we've been living in Palestine for thousands of years without any problems until 1948.
Yeah,
that's when the problems happened.
And a ton of them live in Iran too, and have for many years. It's Iran's a different place.
Thousands of years.
True, thousands of years since before it was even called Iran, right?
Exactly.
So it isn't like there's some kind of unholy thing where the Iranians are kicking out all the Israelites or whatever.
No,
they live there. Like they've been there for a very long time, and apparently, I don't live there. I only know what I've heard, but it seems like they got along pretty well up until recently.
And it's a Zionist talking point. Oh, Israel's holy land. only for the Jews to have their own land. And Jews have been living all over the Middle East. Yemen, you have Yemeni Jews. Jews have been living in Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Algeria, Iran. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There have been Jews living for thousands of years in Muslim lands without any sort of issue or problem.
Yeah.
No problem until a bunch of Turkic, Slavic, Mongoloids, gypsies showed up at the end of 1948, and voila, problems happen.
Yeah, interesting, right? Interesting that they should get along so well for so long, and then all of a sudden there's a problem.
All of a sudden, there's bad blood. All of a sudden,
it's almost as if everybody's been hijacked.
Correct.
And there's, I think, even a further blasphemy if we want to get into the religious part of it. And again, I sent this to you because I wasn't sure if it was true. But if you think about it this way, hastening the second coming by taking all these actions, the calf, the temple, you're actually hastening the coming of the Antichrist if you believe in such things.
Yeah, the real reality is to create as much chaos. The real Satanists on top of this whole entire thing, the real Luciferians that run the show on top of this whole entire bullshit of Zionism and neocons and evangelical Christian nonsense and this, that, and the other. The real Satanists and Luciferians, their belief is to create as much global chaos as possible and then to hoist their Antichrist figure, whom they, believe to be not quite human. Some sort of their belief, and whether you want to believe it or not, is they want to create some sort of a half-human hybrid of some sort onto whom the spirit of Lucifer shall rest shall embody. That's what they're hoping for. They're trying to work on that, and that's what these guys are hastening. I mean, hence Peter Thiel's out there giving Antichrist lectures. It's the most insane, bizarro thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, interesting that if it's supposed to happen on some kind of a human hybrid, I guess you'd have to change DNA, wouldn't you? Somehow.
Absolutely.
And I think they might have done some stuff recently to change millions and millions of people's DNA. I mean, we can't talk about it here without getting canceled, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly correct. We've been under some sort of DNA transcription based gene therapy that has altered God knows what's been transcribed into the very bodies, the very essence of people. And how will this curtail with the changing of the times and seasons and the epochs that the entire universe goes through? How these people would even respond to a godlike frequency anymore, the rhythm of the universe itself. How will they even feel that? Are they even human? And that's the question. And what are the in fact, I mean, I've heard, and I don't know if this is still a thing, but I've heard that there are laws that people want to introduce of what kind of quote unquote human rights are there for those with altered DNA. And why would you put out legislation like that unless you expect something,
or plan something?
So yeah, exactly correct. So that's the real thing in the background. And the American Empire is over. I thought we had our Suez moment October 17th of 2022 when C-17 Globemaster was flying out of Kabul with a bunch of Afghans hanging off of it. I thought that was it. No, it's definitely this time around in March of 2026 where the Iranians pulled our pants down. And the United States has been walking around the globe thinking that they have a big swinging, and now the Iranians have pulled our pants down. The world sees that we have a micro penis. They turned us around and gave us a swift kick in the rear end. And now the world sees that the emperor has no clothes, but he's not the big swinging Johnny anymore. He's got a micro penis. And this is the new reality of it. America is descending back into a regional power. And I'll tell you right now, that creates a lot of risks, and that creates also a lot of opportunities. And if you are smart about it, whether you're doing trade and whatever secondary opportunities or income flows you're going to create, do it immediately, because whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, the largest transfer of wealth in human history is about to take place. Do you want to get paid? Because Cowboy wants to get paid. I want to get paid. Thousands upon thousands of our listeners want to get paid. And we're going to do well. We're going to do well. We're going to use those things that are meant to defile us, delude us, debase us, or confound us, or capture us and use that against them. We're going to use the power of AI. We're going to use the power of crypto. We're going to use decentralized finance. And we're going to build parallel economic systems. And that's how we're going to win. We don't need these folks anymore. We don't even need the fucking dollar at a local level. That's the beauty of this, of what we're entering. Their institutions have been stripped bare. They've been exposed for what they are. They've been laid to the weights, and they've been found to be lacking. They are exposed as being poor, blind, wretched, and naked. There's nothing they have to offer us, and everything that we ever need, everything that we need to build a beautiful, just, and incredible nation we have, and we can do it without the help of Washington, D.C. We can do it without the help of state government. We can do it right here locally. The power has always been with us. It's always been within us, and it's always come from us. We've allowed the last 70 to 80 years to really blind us as to who's the real powerful ones. It's not them, folks. It's us, and it's always been us. They want you to think that you are helpless. They want you to think that you are small. They want you to think you are hapless. They want you to think that you are ineffective in doing anything, that you can't organize, you can't get together, and you can't come together. But they're dead wrong, and we are sick of them. We don't need them. That's the reality of the whole thing, Cowboy.
Yeah, it is. That's why, I've been interested in, there's a kind of a greenhouse. It's very simple, relatively inexpensive, and it does geothermal. And they got a guy in like Nebraska. This is years ago now. This is like 8 years ago. He was growing citrus in like negative 20-degree weather, whatever it was. Like in, whatever it was, zero degrees. It was freezing outside, snow. Growing citrus in the snow, not negative 20, I don't think, but it could have been. It's Nebraska. And that, dude, you could buy the entire kit for $300 a linear foot.
There you go.
Right. So, you got a 20-foot greenhouse, grow all the food you need. This guy is
selling
citrus where he is. Like we're just talking about, they don't grow citrus up. That all comes from Florida for him,
right.
California for others. And he was able to sell it for like 3 times or I should say he could get 3 times, 4 times the profit. Profit margins are huge compared to anybody else selling citrus, right?
Yeah.
So you could undercut them, and each tree is making them hundreds of dollars. So long story short, there are a lot of things we could do. And unless you want to go move to China, go move to Russia, that's other things you can do. And I don't know that those are terrible choices either. I'm kind of concerned if we end up in a conflict with either of those countries and move over there, then we might end up in trouble.
After what has occurred in Iran, any sort of palette for any sort of conflict with China and Russia went out the window.
I think a lot of Americans might not be very welcome. We'll see. If I were to go try to move to one of those countries, I would learn their language very well before I got there.
Yep,
I wouldn't show up,
and respect their culture. That's all people ask. People understand. Most people internationally, they understand. It's not Americans. It's our stupid government. And Americans need to understand. Stop voting for these people. In the next election, the next president, don't even fucking show up. Concern yourself with your state and local elections, and build parallel economic systems. We don't need these idiots.
Yeah, we can make our own food.
Fuck their laws, huh?
We can make our own food. You do all kinds of stuff. We don't. Ultimately,
we don't need these people.
Most of everything that you consume is most of the real important essentials are made not by the government, right? Like, or not by any major national thing, like, sure, Amazon or whatever, they deliver it, but you can get all your food locally. Your energy may be produced somewhere. That might be kind of a problem, but parallel economies will happen over time, and as technology grows, more and more things will be able to be made locally. So I know Joaquin Flores, who we're having on tomorrow, by the way, he has always been really interested in 3D printing just for that reason.
Absolutely.
As
3D printing, we have cryptocurrency, we have gold and silver. we can create everything. There's nothing stopping us, folks. There's nothing stopping us.
Yeah, and most of the cryptos, I shy away from, but you and I are in agreement on many things. Monero being one of them. I think Monero
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We could build on Monero blockchain. We could build on, Zcash. So many other viable things. We just need to make the cryptos attach the crypto to something. Attach it to a community. Create a use case scenario for it, and now it has value.
That's all it is. You should say that.
You got to get it out of Wall Street. Wall Street takes away crypto, the power of crypto. Wall Street says it's for speculation. But if you take it away from Wall Street, bring it to Main Street will start utilizing it for what it's supposed to be utilizing. Use case scenario, utility, and fungibility. That's what it's used for. You need it for utility. So this is why Wall Street came in with heavy investments and lured away and beguiled the entire crypto industry. And now 99.9% of the entire crypto industry is absolutely, they are now debt slaves to Wall Street. One of the largest liquidity providers in the crypto industry, who I've worked with for several years, they went bankrupt recently. They're gone. Okay, so why? They all swallowed the poison pill. They all listened to the siren song that Wall Street had to offer them. Get away from Wall Street, bring it back to Main Street, make it about fungibility, make it about utility, make it about usability, and you build parallel economies. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and it's funny because I read some book, I don't know, years and years ago. In the past, it isn't like there's always been this hard money thing. There's always been hard money. People have always used it. What I mean to say is that a lot of your individual communities, they did a lot of bartering. They would have their own version of money. They would have basically a credit system is how they would operate, inside of a village, right? And I think we're going to end up becoming a bunch of villages, really. Like, I think it's going to go that direction. I don't know how you manage anything bigger than a certain amount of people without some massive artifice to do it. But long story short, sure, there might be an answer to crypto. There's like the quantum resistant ledger that they're building it to resist quantum attacks. There's all kinds of stuff that's out there. I think a lot of the new technology that comes out, everybody thinks it's going to take over like right away, but it doesn't take over for like 20 years. Right. Yeah. That's kind of, we're talking about this with Velas. He mentioned it, and it's like the robotics thing. Yeah, there've been robots working in factories for decades now. It's nothing new. We're just getting to the point where, you can buy your own robot. So I think you could buy them 15, 20 grand from China. I don't know how useful they are, but it's the takeover of a lot of things is probably not for 10 years, maybe 20, when it comes to like physical work. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities. And I think there's a lot of doomers and gloomers out there, that are just like, this, the war is going to do this and that's going to do that. And I think we're just going to get fractionated into regional powers, like you've said.
Yeah. If we become a loose confederation of states, and so be it, America as a whole just becomes a regional power in a country amongst great countries, and so be it. It's better for us as the individual. It's better for us as communities. It's better for us as families, and it's better for us as a people. That'll be a beautiful thing. Nobody's looking to take over anybody else. It's a messy business. The years of warfare and conquest, and those are so far away and done and so behind us as a people. There's only one quarrelsome group of people on planet Earth, and we all know who they are. It's the Levant and everybody in the West that's connected to the Levant. That's it. Once you have the Levantians and all their terror groups and proxy groups, and those proxy groups include everything from Islamic terrorists to fundamentalists, far right Christian groups, and any sort of other extremists. Once that's all done away with, it's like, dude, it's world peace. It's world peace the world will still have its problems, but no one's going to be out there blowing each other up. And that'll be a good thing, and I look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think a lot of people are worried, and I think they should be. I also think things are not as bad as they seem. And I did say, half jokingly, but not, there is a plan.
Yeah,
there is a plan. It's just that it's not the plan that we think it is, or it's not the plan that we're told. The MAGA version of the plan or anything like that. There's absolutely a plan. And I think it's actually working. And some of the things that you predicted are coming true. And I think it's through that plan. I just don't think that like we're in charge of it.
No,
I just don't think that like
there is a plan and there is a game afoot. We're not the ones playing it. We're being played by it.
Yeah. And the best thing that we can do is it's just like it's the managed decline scenario. It's just the best thing we could do is to have as soft a landing as possible. And we've been saying that. I don't know. I've been working with you for 10 years, longer than that now. We've been saying that forever.
Absolutely.
So it's just, this is what it looks like, people. Like, and it's not all as bad as you might think, So, exactly. And of course, Trump's going to be Trump. Trump going to Trump, dude. He's going to want to make himself look as good as possible. He's going to make it look like he's running the game. Yeah. And a lot of people in this country need that. We don't see that here. And what that allows us to do is I think we have a deeper understanding of some of the issues. And quite frankly, we can make some cash, make
Absolutely.
Money.
Exactly. So, and that's the way forward. Chaos and opportunity is the same word in Chinese.
Yeah.
Look for the opportunities, look for the light, look for ESW, Rogue News. And with that being said, we're at the end of the show. Cowboy, thank you for being with me and riding the waves. And folks, we'll be back do we have a show tomorrow?
Joaquin Flores, pretty early too.
Joaquin Flores. Also, Singleton wants to come on tomorrow if everything works well. Singleton at 11 o'clock.
We can make that work.
Make that work. All right, folks. So keep it locked and loaded right here. Joaquin Flores tomorrow and Jon Singleton. Keep it locked and loaded. And he is the Cowboy. I am the Gorilla. And we're over now.